Gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. It's Fox2. In today's video, we're gonna be taking a bit of a late look at news on Modern Warframe's Tank Battles, which is obviously a new game by Artstorm and Gaijin, obviously as a partnership, to be released very soon on mobile platforms. Now, everybody knows this game was expected to be released for alpha testing in April, but it has been delayed and they haven't announced yet when this game actually will be released for alpha testing. That is yet to be seen, but it should be pretty soon. The game looks like it's pretty far into its development, and it looks pretty good so far. Now, today, what I'd really like to do is try and get an idea of where this game is gonna sit compared to its competitors on the mobile platform, or the other legendary tank games we have. So to do that, we're gonna first need to just have a brief run through of the history of its competition on the mobile platform. To start off with, we have got World of Tanks Blitz. That's a pretty obvious one. World of Tanks Blitz is probably the most popular and the biggest, as well as maybe the oldest, of the really popular tank games on mobile. And it is a really good game, I have to say. I have played World of Tanks Blitz for many years. It is very well designed and extremely fun. It's actually an extremely addictive game. When I first got it a few years ago, I was absolutely hooked on it. Now, the thing with World of Tanks Blitz, though, is that many people are moving away from it and getting quite tired of it because they're getting fed up with the matchmaking. If you have played World of Tanks Blitz, you will know what I'm talking about. The matchmaker is absolute misery. You are forever having losses with horrible teams, and it's just pretty much misery. I mean, it's a nightmare when you have really bad matchmaking like that, which is why many people are just getting tired of it and looking for alternative games. Another thing is that it also is starting to fall a little bit behind its competition when it comes to graphics and all. But Wargaming is trying to change this, which might actually boost the game back up again. They have recently announced that they're going to be moving the game to a new engine to run it on, so that they can have all maps HD, hopefully in the future, as well as all tanks with PBR, which would be really cool. Also, World of Tanks Blitz still has lots of huge tournaments. It is actually an esport for mobile. I mean, the prizes are huge. We have had many competitions with $50,000 prize pools for the winners. In fact, I'm in a clan. If you watch the competitions, you'll recognize the name Ponder. We have come quite far in many of these competitions. We've come third, and recently, obviously, in the Blitz X Cup, we came fourth. But that's what really makes World of Tanks Blitz cool. It's just a very well-designed game. Now, the next game I'll be taking a look at is Tank Company by NetEase. Now, this game was really groundbreaking with its graphics. Its graphics are just so beautiful. It's like PC graphics for mobile. I mean, it's wonderful. And it's very much styled after World of Tanks PC. Many people actually said it's more World of Tanks than World of Tanks Blitz because of how much it resembles World of Tanks PC. And this game is really just a wonderful game. Now, here's the thing with Tank Company. It hasn't been marketed very much, and it hasn't really been publicly released in many regions, including my region. It's not available on the Play Store. Unfortunately, I can't download it from the Play Store. Although, obviously, there are alternative ways to download it, such as from the official website by the APK or other APK websites that allow for the downloads. But it hasn't been marketed very well, and it still has a very small player base. Then we have War Thunder Mobile. This has been something people have been waiting for very long, including myself, a mobile version of War Thunder. And it's a really fun game. Obviously, I've based my channel on this so far, and I personally really enjoy it. Now, here's the thing though. Many people are getting bored of it because they feel that there's not really a ton of engaging events, and the game is pretty simplistic. There's just not a whole lot to do in it, other than grind tanks the whole time. Which obviously we know is the main thing, but there's just not much else to do other than just grind tanks. And also, the other problem is the developers at Gaijin really just aren't making the changes we want really fast. They keep just adding new content, such as new tanks every single update, when what we really want is some big changes very soon, such as realistic battles as well as an air mode very soon. Now, the next one on my list is Panzer War. I'm not going to say too much about Panzer War. It is a very cool game. What's unique about it is it does have offline, which is something that other games don't have. You can play it offline as well, non-multiplayer. It's quite a well-designed game. It's got some cool features that the others don't have, such as it has got, if I'm not mistaken, some thermal cameras as well as some night vision, which is really, really cool. I haven't played it much myself, so I can't say too much about it. All I can say is I didn't find it super engaging, and I wasn't enjoying the gameplay a ton on it, although I will say it was a not bad game. It was quite nice. But now, moving on to tank battles. Modern Warfront tank battles. Let's take a look at the trailer first, before we get into all the other details on the official website, as well as their Facebook post. Let's just start by taking a look at the official trailer and seeing what we can discover about this game in the trailer. Okay, as soon as we open the trailer, right off the bat, we can see something here, just of this picture of this map. That is a big thing for me in this game that I really like the look of so far, that many of the other games don't have. Look at the size, as well as the terrain variation. This is something I really like how well Artstorm did on this map. The terrain is really nice. We don't have this kind of terrain in War Thunder Mobile. War Thunder Mobile is pretty much almost entirely flat maps, as well as really small maps. The maps are very small. As we can see in this image, there's a lot of terrain. There's a valley there, which looks like a dried up river, as well as the hill there on the left. And you can go down into the deeper valley where there's a little town there as well. I don't know if the lake in the background, you can also go around the far side of that. I don't think so. I am not 100% sure, because obviously no one's actually played this yet. But this is good. Right from right at the beginning, I can already see there's a whole lot of potential in this game just by looking at this map. Alright, now here's the first set of tanks we can see. Some modern vehicles. This is what makes the game really special. We've got what looks like in the back a variant of the Abrams. We also have what appears to be a variant of the Leopard 2. And then right in the front we have the T-14 Armata. This is going to be really cool. We don't even have this in War Thunder PC. The T-14 Armata, if you don't know, it is the latest Russian tank. We are yet to actually see this in combat or being produced on a large scale. It has made appearances in some of Russia's Victory Day parades, but otherwise we haven't actually seen this tank in combat yet or being produced. Now, it is a really cool tank. We don't know a ton of the stats on it, because obviously it's quite secretive, but nonetheless, many do claim that this will be the most advanced tank in the world when it is actually manufactured and produced on a large scale. But let's carry on, see what else we can see in this trailer. Alright, here's another photo where we can see all the tanks as well. We can see the same three in the front, and we can see some more modern vehicles. In the back, we seem to have two variants of the Leopard, as well as a T90M there. That is really cool. Everyone loves the T90M with its red eyes. I'm really hoping we can actually make those red eyes glow. That will be so much fun. Everyone likes the T90M and its red glowing eyes. It really is an intimidating tank. Now, this is what makes Modern Warfront a unique game compared to the rest. This is something that iBrigard has mentioned on his channel. I'd highly recommend you go watch his videos. He does a lot of great updates and news on the Modern Warfront and what's happening in there and when it's going to be released. So I'd highly recommend you go check out his channel. But what he has also said is that this game is focused on modern vehicles. Now, obviously, we will probably have modern vehicles in War Thunder Mobile soon, but it takes a long grind. You've got to grind all the way through World War II. Now, I personally love World War II tanks, but many people are just there for the modern vehicles, and for them the grind is just too boring and painful to get through all of the World War II. This game is pretty much just top tier War Thunder PC or War Thunder Mobile right from the beginning, because that's what it focuses on, modern vehicles. Let's carry on, see what else we can see. Alright, here's another snapshot. We can see more modern vehicles. We see an Abrams, we see a Leopard, And we can also see some Vietnam War era tanks / late Cold War. We've got a KPZ-70 or MBT-70, I'm not sure if it's the American or German variant. And we've got a Sheridan, as we can see, which are very interesting vehicles. But otherwise, not too much to see here, just tanks and some SPAAs. Let's carry on. Now, here is some more details on the grind. What you can see here, we've got some Cold War / Vietnam, maybe some Korean War vehicles here as well. We've got some BMPs and some wheeled vehicles, as well as what appears to be a variant of the Bradley. Some kind of a variant of the Bradley there on the far right. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't actually seen that model before. You guys can let me know in the comments if I'm right about that. But here's what we can gather about the grind. This is Cold War, so this is probably where the grind is going to start. You're going to start at Cold War vehicles and move your way up to the latest modern vehicles. This is how this grind is really going to work in this game. But let's carry on, see what else we've got. Alright, we have got helicopters as well. Now, this is going to be really cool to see the helicopters. It's something we don't have in War Thunder Mobile. We've got planes, but we don't have helicopters. You never know, maybe Gaijin one day adds them. I don't know what Gaijin's plans are. I'd really hope to, but this is really cool. Now, we can see from the armaments on the helicopters, this one has got rockets, unguided rockets there. Those are, as well as a heavy machine gun, but not too much else to see here in this snapshot of the helicopters. We can see an Apache there in the far right. I do believe that is an Apache, but not much else. Alright, we've got some SUs here as well. Now, let's try and just observe the armaments on their wings as well. We've got rockets. We've got a guided missile. I'm not sure if that's an air-to-air missile or an air-to-ground missile. I do know, I have read on their official Facebook that they're going to have both air-to-ground missiles and air-to-air missiles, which is going to be really cool to see. And then if you look right in the center underneath the plane, we also have some unguided bombs as well. So we've got quite a variety of armaments. This is going to be a lot of fun to be able to play with a sheer amount of armaments. I really do like that. There's not a limited amount. There's a huge amount of customization. Hopefully you can actually customize your own weapon loadouts. I'm really hoping to see that. That will make this game really, really nice. Alright, not much to see here, just more of that same map I commented earlier on. Let's just carry on with the video, see what else there is. Oh yes, we've got the A10A Warthog here. We can observe some more of the armaments here. Now, we've got some unguided bombs, we've got some rockets, we've obviously got the famous Brut cannon that the A10A Warthog has, as well as some guided missiles. This looks really good. And the plane in the second furthest from the camera, as you can see, it also appears to have an additional fuel tank, an external fuel tank. Hopefully that's going to be something that can be added. I don't know if they're going to have fuel systems here. I'm not really sure. They don't have this in modern warships. But that would be really cool if you could actually have an additional fuel tank added, you know, an external fuel tank to add to your airtime. I don't know if they will have that feature or if there's going to be no fuel feature, but that would be really interesting if they did. Now, here's one concern I do have for this game, is the physics of planes. I really hope that their fighter jet physics are really good, because I have played modern warships and I really didn't like the physics of their fighter jets. The physics were really, really bad. So I'm hoping this will have more realistic and much better physics than they have in modern warships. We'll see. Hopefully they will. Since this game really looks very good so far, I'm hoping they did pay attention to that detail. Alright, it's another autoloader. This is an autoloader from the Cold War. I can't remember its name. I think it's the T-54E1 or the T-34E1. Pretty sure it was a T-54E1. But not much else to see here. Alright, now here's the interesting thing as well. We've also got anti-air missiles. Modern anti-air systems. This is going to be really interesting to see. As well as I've heard about mentions about their radar systems. Hopefully they'll have really realistic radar modules. That will be really interesting to see. This looks really, really fun. Now I'm also hoping that they will balance it well, so that the anti-air is not overpowered. we do have in War Thunder PC that one Russian anti-air truck. I always forget its name, it's a weird name. But it's completely overpowered. It just, if you spawn a plane, you get destroyed instantly in it. There's absolutely no chance you're going to survive it. So hopefully they balance the anti-air in this game well. Alright, we just saw a second ago. Let me see if I can rewind to that. I just missed it. From this picture, we can see very typical modern warships interface. It just resembles modern warships so much. Now, I would like it if they can maybe veer a little bit away from the modern warships look. I feel like it does. When I see this kind of interface, it just feels like a mirror of modern warships. It just feels like modern warships but tanks. Now that's not a problem. That's what many people want. They are looking for basically a tank version of modern warships, especially if they've played the game and they really love it, but they're more of a tank fan. But I would like it if they could move away a little bit from that kind of interface and maybe create a more unique interface. And also that tank indicator at the bottom of the screen to indicate the direction your turret is turned. I think it could be a little bit better done. I don't like the simplicity of that one. It just doesn't look that great. It looks like a boat, not a tank. Now, this is something many people have been interested in. We're going to have reconnaissance drones. This is going to be a fascinating feature to play around with, reconnaissance drones. I am really looking forward to playing around with these and seeing how they work. I don't know how the spawning system will work for them, how they're actually going to work, whether they are purchasable edition or they just come standard with some vehicles, whether they'll maybe be something that comes standard with light vehicles or scout vehicles. I do know that they come with the artillery guns. Now, that will be very interesting, and I'm looking forward to seeing exactly how these work. It would be interesting as well if we can see some actually weaponized drones as well, not just reconnaissance drones, some actual strike drones as well. That would be very interesting if they did add that as well. Now, that was an interesting scene right there. We could see those anti-air. They fired the rockets right up in the air. So it's not anti-air, that's guided artillery. That is modern artillery with ground-to-ground missiles. That's going to be interesting to see. I'm really excited to see how those are going to work. I'm hoping they're not going to be overpowered, because in many games, people complain about the artillery being just too good, especially in World of Tanks PC. No one likes the artillery because it's just so hard to reach them, and if they do see you and they strike you, there's nothing you can really do about it. But we get to see how this is going to work. I just hope it's not going to be too overpowered as well. Alright, nothing to see there. Now, here's another interesting photo. We are going to have smoke grenades. That's a really nice feature. I'm glad they're adding smoke grenades, since we don't have smoke grenades in World of Tanks Blitz or Panzer War Tank Company. We don't have that in those games, but obviously they are more arcadey games. Now, here's the concern. Another concern I do have is the fact that it is an arcadey game, sort of similar to World of Tanks Blitz, and the fact that it has a HP system. I'm pretty sure it's going to have an HP system. I'm not 100% sure. But if they are modeling it after modern warships, they are going to have an HP system. I'm hoping that it's going to be a little bit better than modern warships in the HP system. I hope there will also be ricochet physics, and the fact that shells can't just always penetrate. I'm really hoping to see that, because I feel like if they don't have that, that will be a bit of a flop for the game. We really do need accurate physics as to whether shells will penetrate or not. We need penetration values as well as the ability to ricochet shells if you've got an angled, heavily armored tank. Alright, from the scene you can see we've got some artillery guns, some howitzers, some classic howitzers. I'm really excited to see how these are going to work. If there's going to be an above camera, I have heard that you can scout using a reconnaissance drone for these. That is going to be really, really interesting to see, and I'm looking forward to seeing these. Alright, we can see there is going to be a base system as well here, where you can capture zones, bases, or whatever you want to call them. That's going to be interesting. That's not something we have in modern warships, at least as far as I know, since I haven't played that game in quite a long time. But last I played it, we didn't have that system. That's going to be interesting to see as well. And I'm glad they have added that, because that is something that makes a lot of games these days. Pretty much every game, tank game, has to have this system in it. Alright, now this is an interesting picture. From here we can see that the right engine of this A-10A has caught fire. Now, I'm hoping that this is going to be realistic physics like this, and not an HP system for the aircraft maybe. Because we can see the right engine's on fire. I'm hoping it's not going to be that there's no such thing as damaged modules. I'm hoping we can have, like we have in War Thunder, where you can actually damage specific points of the plane depending on where you hit. The engine, the wing, rip off a wing if you hit the wing, take the pilot out if you have a lucky shot on the pilot, or take the rudder out so it can't go up and down, control its elevation, or also, take the elevators out, excuse me. Now, I'm just hoping that this is going to be added. There's a good chance it will be, since we can see here that the right engine is on fire. Hopefully that's not just decorational, just to show that the plane's been hit. Okay, that was the Modern Warfront trailer. Now let's go onto their official website as well as onto their Facebook and see what we can gather there as well. Okay, here we can have a look at a map from above. This is one of the best pictures we've so far gotten of what these maps are gonna look like. Now this looks like a really good size. It looks quite a fair bit bigger than the War Thunder mobile maps. It's not enormous, but it looks quite a bit bigger than War Thunder Mobile, as well as World of Tanks Blitz-sized maps. And I'm looking forward to that. Finally, decent-sized maps on mobile. This is what I'm really excited about. We can also see from this map that there are 3 main sides. I do know that there will be 3 bases on this map, A, B, and C, obviously. And we can see on the one side, we have got a mining area with some mining equipment, as well as the center, we have some more mining equipment. And then on the very top, we have got what looks like a loading area slash a small town area. We do have some little houses as well scattered here and there. Let's look at some other pictures of this map. Okay, here we can see what appears to be the loading area side. And it looks really good, since there's a whole variety, just in this one map alone, of different things. We can see that there's a road running through, and on each side it sort of slopes upwards, so we have got the ability to capitalize on hills as well. And there's also a lot of terrain differences. We can see there in the path that opens into the center there's also a lot of small, very steep hills as well, so you can go hull down in some places, I believe, as well. This just looks really, really cool right from this picture as well. And here's another picture we can see as well. This picture now shows the center part of the map. The center part looks really, really cool. It's gonna the center part's gonna promote very heavy brawling playstyle, as well as very close playstyle. It's very small, very narrow, so you're gonna be squeezed together there with the enemy. But it has lots of rocks, some containers scattered down there, and lots of mounds, which means you can hide behind the mounds as well as play hull down a lot. This looks really cool from this photo as well. And then lastly, here we have the mine side, or this looks like the center as well. Now we can see from this angle, if you look at the top right of the screen, there is a climb up there. That looks like a very advantageous position if you can actually get your tank up there. That will be a really, really good position, in my opinion, looking at this picture, if you can actually get your tank up there. Now let's just look at some other photos. We have some other maps as well. Okay, let me just see, which photo did I want to look at first? Here we have this one of this desert map. I think this is the same desert map. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, we saw in the beginning. It might not be, because this one seems to more focus on rocks. The other one had more dunes. But maybe it's just a different angle of the same map. Now, what we can see here is that there's a lot of passageways running through these mountainous outcrops of rock in the middle, which is going to be really fun to flank around and play really interesting strategies with your vehicle here. And once again, it's like what I said, I really like the terrain in these maps. Here's another angle as well of the same map. We've got a township on this side. I think this is looking from the far side of that last picture. If you go further out and you look back, now we can also see there's a lake. Yes, this is definitely the same map as right in the beginning when I opened the trailer, because we can see that same lake slash pond there, that oasis that I did point out. I do think it is the same one. And we can also see in the background there is a stone archway. I don't know if you can drive your tank up on there as well, above those outcrops as well as underneath. That would be really cool. These maps just seem very large for mobile gaming, which I'm really looking forward to playing with and seeing how they work. Here we have another angle. We can see that there's what appears to be a drilling base, an oil drilling base here, which is going to be interesting to play around with as well. It's not very large. I think it might be one of those positions where if you can cap it, you can really hold the enemy off from there because it's very well enclosed. Now, that is all I have to say about Modern Warfront tank battles. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think of this game. And is this game gonna be absolutely revolutionary for mobile? How do you guys think it's gonna compare to all of its competitors? I'm really looking forward to seeing this game, and I hope it's gonna be out soon. Now, as always, if you enjoyed today's video, please remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.